Will you be the one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System? The one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included. He helps you tackle even the toughest challenge. Will you be the first to raise the incredibly accurate Zapper and play games like Duck Hunt or action-packed Hogan's Alley and high-flying Kung Fu, each sold separately? Will you be the one to experience the Nintendo Entertainment System? Comes with Rob, Zapper, Control Deck, 2 controllers, Gyromite, and Duck Hunt.
Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that little intro with Freddy. Now you're playing with power. Oh yeah, and this is the Nintendo NES collection. Now growing up, this was my first video game system. I had, I think like 40 games over a span of the years I got it. And a lot of these are terrible. A lot of these you're going to look at and go, oh my God, man. I think at one time I was telling Eddie, I think the Angry Video Game Nerd and myself were like, I was like, man, he's showing off games I've got. Almost every bad game is one I've got. And it was like a rare thing. Like he would show off a game and I'll be like, okay, I've got that one. Yeah, it sucks. Being a kid, you know, you don't really know what games you're picking up at times. You just pick them up because, oh man, I seen the movie of this or this show or something, and you're just picking them up. And over the last decade, I've been picking up some games here and there, and I'm not paying huge exorbitant prices. A lot of these come from flea markets and pawn shops and cheap thrills as well. So I hope you enjoy this video and this collection that I'm going to show off. And like I said, this is my collection so far.
Now I'm playing with power!
I think any collection needs to start off with the Man of Steel himself, Superman. And Superman was not a good game. I don't know what it is about, you know, it was Suicide Squad killed the Justice League being a total shit fest. And I don't know what it is. They just cannot make a good Superman game. At the N64 games, I got it. I've heard bad things about it. And Superman on the NES, I mean, the classic illustration of Superman is just, that's the best thing about the game. And the game itself, it's not good. I played it, and I could only go to a certain part in it, and I would always get my ass kicked. Now, one of the things I liked early in the system was racing games. And you're going to see a lot of racing games in this collection, and you're just going to roll your eyes at some of these, like, why the hell would you get some of these games? And one of them I got, and I actually kept some of the covers. I never kept none of the boxes because I was a kid that didn't believe in the boxes. I got Rad Racer. Yeah, Rad Racer, baby. Rad Racer. And I actually remember playing this one. And Rad Racer wasn't a bad game. I actually liked it. I liked the nighttime driving and how they done it and everything. And that was one of the ones I liked. Now, here's when I actually kept the game manual. You know, being kids, we just throw the game manuals and the boxes away, and looking back, we're like, why didn't we keep the manuals? You know, we could have used them, you know, for the game, and it's just crazy. So anyway, this one's Back to the Future. Yeah, Back to the Future. One day I'm going to go through, and I'm going to go to a shop and try to find all the manuals to these games. At least I could do that much. And this is Back to the Future, and this game sucked, and the Angry Video Game Nerd done this game, and I remember him doing it, and I'm like, yeah.
We're due to...
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Oh.
Think, McFly. Think.
Another game that he done, and yeah, this is just like a running thing. I got Fester's Quest. Yeah, Fester's Quest. I would get to a part in this game, and Fester would move with a cop up his ass. I don't know what it is. It was like that alien you're fighting, and he's like, I'm like, come on, Fester. And, you know, if you got hit one time, Fester would move, like, he had something up his ass, he couldn't move, you know. It was just, oh, gosh, it was just so aggravating with Fester. Here's one this one come from some Safari Video. I have no clue who this Safari Video place was, but I think I got this at a flea market. It's Friday the 13th. I picked it up because, you know, Nightmare, you know, it's a horror game, and I like it. I like Jason and Freddy, and, this is one of the games I picked up, and I think the Angry Video Game Nerd did one on this one. I believe he did one on this one too. I'm pretty sure he did. Now here's one that come from a flea market, and I'm pretty sure it was early on when I started collecting games. It is... I have to hold it like this because this is how it's made. This is a weird Tengen game. This is Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder. And Tengen made these weird game boxes, as you can see, like this. I mean, it's just weird. Another one I picked up at a pawn shop. And one of the pawn shops here, man, was just selling games for cheap, I think. Either this came from the pawn shop or cheap thrills. But the pawn shops was really selling these games cheap. And I was knocking out a good many of them. Back when they sold them like for $4 or $5. And this was Mickey Mousecapades. I actually know I got this one from, I know where I got this one from now because I can look on the back of it. I got this one back, I think last year. I got this one actually from, he's a local seller. And I bought some of these. And actually I didn't pay $4 or $5 for this one, thankfully. It was a couple bucks for it. But yeah. Yeah, this one wasn't, you know, this one came from that local Facebook seller group. This one also came from it. It's Wrath of Black Mana. The Wrath of Black Mana. And I saw this recently in Cheap Thrills, by the way. I saw this recently in Cheap Thrills. I am going to shoot a video there eventually if they still got these games. And I think CJ just picked up one that I actually got in my collection. Now, this one actually came from a flea market. It is Dragon Warrior. And this one is this is the start of Dragon's Quest. Yeah, Dragon Quest it went from Dragon Warrior to Dragon Quest, I believe. And they've actually got like 2 or 3 of these games. I should have looked for the other Dragon Warriors eventually. I will. I think Larry's got them. I'm pretty sure Larry does. This one came from the local seller. And he had this one wrapped in plastic, which is really nice. It is Hoops. Hoops. This is one of the very first basketball games for the NES, by the way. Now, this game royally pissed me off. It's an RPG type game, and you would go to a certain spot and you would slide off the floor. It is Deadly Towers. Deadly Towers. You would slide off that freaking tower each time. And I went so far into that game. And continuing on, I got Bugs Bunny and Crazy Castle, which I beat. I remember this game. It's a fun platformer game. It's a fun platformer once you figure it out and how to avoid the enemies and everything and how to keep, get rid of them and everything. It's a fun platformer game. I liked it. It's one of those weird games, and I think they made a couple of Looney Tune games for the NES. Like I said, all my games are not winners, by the way. These are not winning games, by the way, as you can see. I picked up City Connection, a racing game, and this is one of those weird, interesting Jelco games. I guess it was based off an anime, because look how the drawing is. City Connection. I have Milan's Secret Castle, which the Angry Video Game Nerd did a brief review on, and I would have never figured this out until he showed me. You got to hit this one certain space, because I would get to a second part, and I remember me and my friend Mark played this game, and Mark looked at me and said, "Where the hell did you go?" And me and him tried figuring it out. Me and him sat down there and played it for an hour back in the day, and we were sitting there trying to figure out where to go to get up on this castle. And here it was years later, and I sent him the thing. I said, "Mark, if we just know to hit this one certain space," and he's like, "Who the hell would do that?" I remember even the Angry Video Game Nerd said that. Now, moving on, and I just saw recently, Eddie actually, I think, just picked this up for Sega a couple weeks ago. For the Sega. Well, Eddie, I've got this one for the Nintendo. It's Wheel of Fortune with Vanna. Ooh, Vanna. And, yeah, it's kind of, featuring Vanna White. God, Vanna's smoking back in the day. She still is. And, they should let her become host. Anyhow, I got Super Mario 2, which I always never knowed for years. And I just did a review of this back weeks ago. And this is a review of, when I got this game, I kept asking for it. I was like, man, I want Super Mario Brothers 2. And I just harassed my parents for this game. And I never knowed that this was based on another game. And the real Super Mario Brothers 2 was considered too hard for American audiences. But yeah, this was really, I like this game. It's one of my favorites. I solved it, And here's one that I love, Paperboy. Yeah, Paperboy, baby. I admit, when I got this one from James, I believe. I saw James had it, and I made a trade and got it. And, I miss you, buddy. Yeah. Get Casino, man. Get Casino. I got the Tecmo Bowl. I've always had this one. And the first Tecmo Bowl wasn't deep, but, you know, had Montana and a bunch of the old teams from the early 80s. Very decent game. Very decent football game. Now, here's one I made sure to get. And I think I got this one off Larry. Or maybe at a flea market. It is Punch-Out. Punch-Out. Maybe it came from James, by the way. You know, maybe it came from him. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Oh, yeah. Iron Mike. Yeah, Iron Mike, baby. I got the box of this. This box is crushed a little bit. This box is... I got Bigfoot, which has the most wonkiest controls. I mean, this has, you know, car crushing and all that cool stuff, but you're traveling across country, and the controls in some of these contests are just so wonky and weird. From what I remember playing, and I actually solved it. I got Jackal from a pawn shop because I remember buying it from the pawn shop. Jackal, baby. Jackal. Now, this is one I picked up. I think I got this one from Computer Whiz. This is Remote Control. MTV's Remote Control. If you don't remember Remote Control, I always wanted to get this game because I always had good thoughts about it. Okay. Stuff fell over. I hit it with my arm. Anyhow, let's get this Nintendo thing done. I got Knight Rider. I got this one from a pawn shop. I actually remember when I bought this one. And it was like the Princeton Pawn. And yeah, this was a nice one. I always like I said, I'm always looking for cheap games and games that really interest me as a, you know, with some pop culture stuff involved. And Knight Rider was one of them. Never played it. I don't know if it's any good because, like I said, I just got these in the last few years, some of these. Now, here's one I did play. And I always got to the end of this game. It is Double Dare. Oh, yeah, classic Double Dare. Double Dare was one of my favorites. Double Dare, the game. I mean, you would go all the way to the end of the contest, right? And you would be running the obstacle course. And its controls were wonky as shit. And for some weird reason. And you just could not get to that final flag. You would get to the obstacle course, and I'm like, what is with these controls? Why is it just doing this? I think some of these game developers are like, let's screw with them. Let's just F with their minds, you know. Let's just do this. Let's just make them crazy, you know. Here's one I did play, and I got this one back a decade ago. It was Donkey Kong Classics, and I actually was down at Roanoke when I got this one. Down at Roanoke. Oh, yeah, Donkey Kong Classics. I got Skate or Die, which I did play, and it's a decent game. It's a decent Skate or Die game. I mean, it's got some fun stuff in it, and got some. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff in it, but I can remember a few things like the skateboarding and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. I remember the shop guy. He looked really wild. Now here's one I remember: a racing game, RC Pro AM. And I wish I had RC Pro Am too. I wish I did. I've seen it, and I should have, you know, I've seen it over the years, and I heard it goes for decent now. But yeah, this was, I would get halfway into this game, and some of the tracks would get harder and harder, and the races would get tougher, and it was still a decent racing game. It was like an over the top view, and in a way. Now here's one that I'm glad I kept the manual because the manual looks cool as hell, man. Look at this manual. Operation Wolf. Yeah. Operation Wolf, baby. I'm glad I kept the manual to that one. Yeah. This one, I may have beat, actually. I may have beat this one. I ain't played it in years. Like I said, some of these I can remember right off the bat. My memory's like this. Some of them like... Now... This one brings back memories, because my dad, he would always get the wrestling games. That was something. He would be with me, and he'd be like, get a wrestling game. And I'd be like, okay. He liked the wrestling games, you know. And pro wrestling was one of them. I think this was like the second or third game made for the system. But yeah, he liked the wrestling games. He enjoyed those. Now, here's one that my sister liked. and we would play this one. I actually got the manual to it. I can't believe it. The manual looks like it's been through the damn war. It's Burger Time. It looks like it's been through the war, you know. Oh, Burger Time. There it is, Burger Time. Yeah. Burger Time was good. I actually remember beating it. I think I beat it. Like I said, memory. A game I never did beat, and because one of the levels got so insane, like third or fourth level, because bullets is flying everywhere. It's Gunsmoke. It's Gunsmoke. Dear Lord, man, those bullets will be flying everywhere, and you're trying to avoid them, and you know, you'd be shot. You'd be fighting Indians and outlaws, and dear Lord, man, it was crazy. And I loved the the cover, and like the first couple levels were really cool. But it just got harder and harder as it went. Yeah, kids today, they got it easy, you know. Mario don't really punish you as much, but these games back then, they was like, F those kids. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer. Play some Gunsmoke. Another one I got, another racing game I got is Bump and Jump. And this one was one where you jumped a car. And I love the cover, but I can't remember if I beat it or not. It's just one of those things. So let's just keep going. Well, continuing the collection. I'm almost halfway through, so I got like 60 plus games of this, so I ain't really done a count recently with all the pickups I made, so I've got to add them to my thing, and so I think there's 63 or 64 games total, so here we go. We're getting close here. We're almost done. We're almost done with this. I got Super Mario Brothers 3, which I beat. Super Mario Brothers 3, there's a way you could beat it. I would actually be able to skip so many levels because I beat it so many countless times. And there's like 3 or 4 levels you could beat, and you could just cheese that final boss stage, because there's a way I'd have all my stuff saved, and I would use whistles and shit and fly over. It was a way to cheese it, but I would beat the game pretty quick. This is one I got a couple years ago. It's Castlevania 2. Castlevania 2. And I think I just seen recently there's a Castlevania 4 that I could have picked up, and I'm thinking about getting it eventually. I got another wrestling game, because my dad liked these. It's Tecmo's World Wrestling. I don't really remember this one as much. I remember the first one, because me and him would play it, and I would use the Mass Superstar to run and do that flying body smash, but I don't remember this one. Now, here is a game I remember. This is probably one of my favorites, because I played this one for hours like Mario. It's Tecmo Super Bowl, baby. Tecmo Super Bowl. And I actually lost my copy, and I think I got 2 of these, because I actually had to find I found my other copy after I bought this one. Tecmo Super Bowl does the 88 and 89 rosters, has 28 teams. Yeah, kids. The NFL used to be 28 teams back in the day. Back in from the 70s to early 2000s, before all the expansion stuff. But yeah, this was this had the classic Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young. I mean, can you imagine that roster? I would take the sucky teams, because it's always easy to take the good teams. I would take teams like the New England Patriots, which really sucked back then, and I would make them win the Super Bowl. Another game I got is Tag Team Wrestling. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th game, actually. I think this is the 4th or second, or this is actually the 2nd one, I believe, for the Nintendo. And I remember this one a little bit. I actually remember doing this one a little bit. Yeah. Tag Team Wrestling. Oh, yeah. I got WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge. Look at that. Look at that roster, baby. You got Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, the Mountie. Yeah, the Mountie, Ted DiBiase, and I think Hulk Hogan's in this one. I believe Hulk Hogan's in this one too. But yeah, this is I love these WWF games, because I've got a bunch of them. I'm glad that I come along in that part of time. Now, here's another one I thought was missing, and I think I might have found it. It was I think there might be another copy of this in there, and I won't show it if it is, but it's the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges. I got this one at a flea market. And the Three Stooges game, you could cheese this game. You could cheese it perfect. And I've always said it. There's a cheat way to do it. And I showed Eddie and Keith and Kevin this one night. It just took me like 30 minutes. And I solved the whole game in that quick. There's Cracker Jack eating. They take like real stuff from the Stooges shorts and put it in this game. And if you're ever playing it, you just keep going, trying to get the Cracker Jack, you know, where it's, I don't know what the hell it is, snapping lobster, whatever the hell it is. But you can cheese it that way, and you can get the whole rent money and more. You could actually have like $10,000 or $12,000 in the game and get the fairy tale ending with the Stooges. Now, here's another one I've got the manual with, and there's actually 2 endings in this one. It's Rambo. Well, it's not really an ending. If you ever played it, you can actually not save anybody in Rambo.
They drew first blood, not me.
Based on the second film. And you can actually, my sister discovered this, you don't have to save the people. The POWs. You can actually leave them there and just go back with photos. Yeah, it's an evil ending. And it don't really solve the game. It just stays on. But you can do it like that. It's an evil ending, for sure. Now, I got this one from Cheap Thrills. I actually remember this one. This one is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, which I'm very happy I picked up. And I'm not going to show the back of it, because whoever had this game wrote their name on the back of it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They wrote their name on it. I'm still surprised at this. I mean, I have to wonder, you know, I know you want to keep your property, but I wouldn't, you know, write my name on it. Yeah, and I found the other copy here of Super Tecmo Bowl. Now, here's one I used to play a lot. It's Al Unser Jr. Turbo Racing. Al Unser Jr., baby. Turbo Racing. Oh, yeah. Don't remember how many memories of it that much, but like I said, some of these games I played so many times as a kid, it could just click on my mind. They're just there. Like Macho Man, they're just there. Okay. Moving on with this collection. We're getting to the tail end. We're almost there. We're almost there. I got Karate Kid for the collection. My collection. Karate Kid. Yeah. This was on the Angry Video Game Nerd too, from what I remember. Now we got the ultimate cover. And this was, I think I was trying to get one of these Nintendo Power magazines with this cover. It's WWE WrestleMania with the Hulkster brother. Oh, yeah. The Hulkster. I remember growing up as a Hulkamaniac, and I had to get that game. Oh, now here's one that I remember this one, Nintendo World Cup and Super Spike B-Ball, and I actually I kept the manual to it. You know, of all the sucky games I had to keep a manual to, was this one. That's kind of weird, ain't it? You know, let me keep the manual to that one. Let's see, another game with no ending, and I played this one for hours trying to. I remember this game had. I learned years later this game had no ending, because I would play it and play it and play it, trying to solve the game, and I'm like, why can't I solve this game? What is the deal with this game? Spy Hunter. At one time, The Rock, yeah, the great one, the Brahma Bull, was attached to a Spy Hunter film. I'm pretty sure it would have an ending. The game sure as hell didn't. And I didn't know this, and I would play it, and I would go through. I would play for hours, like, man, how do you know, and those cars would try to ram me off the road and everything, man. I got this one from Roanoke. I remember there was a game store down there at one time, and I think there is another one now, but at the time there was just a place called Rewind, and I actually went there for a couple bucks and picked up, because they was trying to sell out some of their Nintendo games, and I went through there and I picked up like maybe 1 or 2, maybe. I picked up Bases Loaded 3. I picked up this one, and I think I picked up Duke Nukem. That Duke Nukem, because they was trying to get rid of certain games, and I was like, okay, for a couple bucks I'll pick this one up. Still, Bases Loaded 3. I'll get that one. Now here's one I beat. It's Kid Nicky, Radical Ninja, and the cover is just so awesome, man. Look at that cover of that game. And that was the thing about some of these classic Nintendo games and Atari games. They had these great covers. And then when you start to play them, you're like, what the hell, man? But Kid Nicky it had, you know, I remember fighting it and playing it and getting all the way through it. And it was a fun game. Now, here's a game that aggravated the crap out of me. And sometimes I could land this freaking plane and sometimes I couldn't. It's Top Gun. And I would go through the missions, a couple of the missions. And, yeah, Top Gun. And I think they made a sequel to this one. But, yeah, Top Gun, baby. Top Gun. Now, this one, Eddie was with me when I picked this one up. This was at a pawn shop. And I was going through and this is the one I picked up Jackal and Knight Rider. Because I was picking up all these cool games this pawn shop had. And it was like, they wasn't selling them for much of anything. And now they probably realized what they had, because they had a box of Nintendo and a box of Super Nintendo games. And I picked up a couple from the Super Nintendo, and I picked up these, and it was Total Recall when I picked this one up.
Come on, Cohagen, you got what you want. Give these people air.
Yeah, Total Recall. And I wish the cover was in better shape. I wish Arnold, but hey, you know, for the price I paid for it, you can still see the cover. You can still see Arnold's face. I ain't played it, but like I said, I wanted to get it. And Acclaim, baby, Acclaim. It's just weird that Acclaim is still, you know, I've got all these games with Acclaim on it. Now, here's one boxing game. And I used to hate this game. I started playing it. It was Ring King. Ring King. Not as good as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Not as good as Punch-Out. Ring King. Now, here's a game that I solved. It took me a while. I actually went back and beat it, but after I saw how to do it back in the 2010s. Thank you, YouTube. But it was a game that I would play countless hours and countless time. And I would do everything. And it was, I know the Angry Video Game Nerd ripped it, but I actually kind of like it. It was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The music will set you crazy. The music score, you'll just sit there like you hear it for so long, you'll be like wanting to draw your eyes out. It'll just drive you mad. Man. And here's the cool thing. It's Pac-Man. Tengen. It's really weird that Tengen actually made this one like a normal game instead of the normal, how they normally do things. This is another one I got from that pawn shop up there. And I might have got this one first, but it's The Adventures of Bo Billy. And, yeah, a lot of these games, like I said, you know, they whoever had them would put their names on the back of these games, and that's why I'm trying not to show the back of them as much. And I don't have to, so, you know, that's the good thing about Nintendo games. You don't have to show them the back of them. And here's one I picked up, and CJ just recently got this game a couple weeks ago. So CJ, here's Monster Party, buddy. I got this one back at a flea market years ago. Way cheaper than what I think Cheap Thrills was like 15 or 20 bucks for that game. And I was like, well, I've already got Monster Party, and it's pretty damn cool. So I'm kind of glad I got it at the time. So let's keep going. We're getting to this is going to be the tail end of it. So we're almost done, folks. We're almost done with this collection video. Final handful of games. We're there. We are there. Okay. I got Kid Icarus, and I remember when I got this one at a flea market years ago, and I was surprised because how cheap it is. I started playing it, actually. I started playing Kid Icarus because I got a Yo-Blow system, and man, it's hard as hell. I was in there, I'm like, no wonder people were just so frustrated with this game growing up. Kid Icarus. And I got another WrestleMania Challenge game. Yeah, there's actually, I think, 2 WrestleMania Challenge games. This one actually has Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and the Big Boss Man. Gonna be serving some hard time. Gonna serve some hard time, punk. Gonna serve some hard time. Now here's a game, and I'm kind of it's age is showed because my sticker's starting to peel off, and I hate to see that because, like I said, I grew up playing this game, and I never could do this one jump, and I didn't realize it because I didn't equip the shoes right. It's the Goonies 2. Yeah, they never made a sequel. There's never been a Goonies 1 game, and they never made a sequel to Goonies. But here's Goonies 2. Yeah, Goonies 2. And they took the music score from the film, the Cyndi Lauper song, and he looped it in some weird way, and I remember like playing that. Now here's a game I remember getting from James in his shop, and he sold it to me cheap. It's Bubble Bubble. Yeah, thanks, James. I got Bionic Commando, and I think I got this one at a flea market. These two games actually came from that local seller, and I got these back in December, I believe. I can't pronounce this game. I'm not even going to try. As you can see, that's it. And I got Silent Service. Silent Service. Yeah, these two. Yeah. Look at these two games. Yeah. I got Fist of the North Star. And this was a nice little, fight type game. So this is nice. I got Excite Bike, which I enjoyed. I played it a lot. Excite Bike. And finally, I decided to end this video with probably the game that started it all. That started the ball rolling for me on Nintendo. Even though it was not much of a lot of a game collection, because like I said, I didn't get many games, and I've been picking up some here and there. Well, this game really started it for me. It was Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Yeah, when I got it, these two games come together, and Mario Brothers, when I solved it, that's really what started. I remember getting this game as a little kid, and I was like, I don't want to eat right now. This is about me beating Mario, and I got determined to beat the game, and I did. But I hope you enjoyed the collection. I hope you enjoyed all 60-plus games in this collection. It's not the greatest Nintendo collection. It's not the worst, I don't think. But there was some questionable games in here and some fun memories of these games growing up. So I want to thank you for watching this long video. I'm trying not to do as many long videos, but hey, it happens. So thanks for watching. Until next week, ECW fans signing out. Thanks for watching.